Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, no. It's been overcast the entire day. Like no direct sunlight whatsoever. And now there's all of the direct sunlight. I'll say indeed. And greetings upon you, beloved and early friends. Thank you so much for sharing this space with me, for coming and saying hi, for sending some love, and for moving. Just for moving, in whatever way you move throughout this realm that we call Earth. Thank you. Thank you. Like, genuinely, thank you for what you do. You do more than you know. Honestly, every single one of us are making moves constantly. And every single one of these moves we make is influencing the whole. I am going to go and make a move to catch myself something that will provide some shade. Otherwise, I'll get turned into a raisin. Son, why are you like this? Why? Why do you always come out just as I think I have shade? It's like, nah, bruh. Like, I know I made it seem that way, but nah. Actually, nah. So much sun. I feel like it's almost hard for me to believe. I was specifically sitting up here looking at this spot being like, oh yeah, sick, sick. I'll be able to stream here with good lighting, but no direct sunlight in my eyes. Lies, I tell you. Lies I tell myself, I guess. Thank you, friends. I almost sat on you. I almost sat on you, silly girl. I almost sat on you, silly girl. Silly, silly girl, silly girl. Okay, you can go. I'll see you again. Thank you. Thank you so much, friends, for joining me. Sorry for missing your messages already. Dry. Worldly assumption? Goodness, it's been months since you've been here. I've missed you, friend. How are you doing? How's the kids? How's your significant other? Frankie, thank you for joining us. Melita, loving the tree background for today. What? What? Are you grrring at the little burps flying around? They do that. They really do that a lot, so I'm gonna be busy for a while. Literally just reinstalled Discord and got the invite to the stream. How serendipitous. Have you seen the change, if you will, in account description? Live every day as an opportunity for serendipity. So yes, worldly assumption. Thank you for joining us again, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. How have you been? How have you been? It has its own type of storytelling about his own movement. It has its own storytelling about his movement, his own movement. I feel like I'm missing a little bit of the context. Talking about me, talking about something else. I'm not sure exactly, but in this moment, I'll be calm with you, friends. Ryan, Brother Bear, mega love right back to you. Aunt B, thank you for joining us, my friend. Happy Wednesday. Yo, Melt, yo, Cable. Thank you for joining us, my man. Heather is here as well. Thank you for joining us, my friend. Good morning to you, Heather. How are you doing? I'm in the hospital right now, sending you some love. Cable, you friends, you friends. Make me read sometimes. Like instantly, I think about Aunt B as well, where she's also like, "Oh yeah, I'm in the emergency room right now," and then that's like the context, and then I try and scan my phone for a message of like, "I'm in the emergency room because of this." Don't worry, I'm not dying actively. And then you send me a message, I'm in the hospital right now. Next message, but sending you some love. No, absolutely not. We need to be sending you love, Cable. What's happening? What's happening? What happened to you, dude? Freaking Kira Burr had her leg or her ankle broken yesterday. She sent me a photo of her foot in a cast, a purple one, just for extra flavor. Aunt B and Uncle Becky, had COVID very recently. They went into the hospital for that. What are you in the hospital for, Cable? Do tell us, dude. Top of the morning to you, Melty, my friend. I was thinking this morning about you. I am a very solemn person when alone, and I wish I could change that. Your portrait self, of course. Of course, you bring the one thing, that I do not know how to help you with. The one thing that I also struggle with. I also tend to be pretty, in your words, solemn when I'm alone. And I have really battled with that feeling as well. I was not very happy today. I was feeling a little bit spicy, if you will. And that spicy feeling can really lead us to wondering things, like, oh, is there something? Am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing something else right now? Why do I have this feeling within inside of me like something is amiss, is wrong, is na 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 na. So I really don't know portrait self. I feel if anything, us coming together in spaces like this, allowing ourselves to not be alone, I feel is what we're supposed to be doing. It's quite literally that. It's that feeling of camaraderie, of closeness with one another, even though we can feel solemn when we are alone. It's not necessarily wrong to feel that way. It's not that that feeling within itself is something to be avoided, but I feel maybe something to take a break from. And weirdly enough, that feeling can go very hand in hand with movement. Like you'll find yourself moving from one space to another, trying to find some sort of comfort, some sort of what's that? What are you eating? What are you eating? That's gross. That's gross, yo. That's gross. What's that? What is that in your mouth? What is that? Is that a piece of dead thing? It has hairs. Do you see that? That's gross. Oh, disgusting. Looks like a rabbit or something. Or at least it used to be a rabbit or something. Goodness. Living on a farm. That's so gross. And she loves being close to me. So of course, there's all of the farm to chew dead things on. But no, it has to be close enough to me for me to hear the bones cracking, the sinews being pulled. We're here. We're here right now, portrait. We're here right now. You know, today's intention is movement. And it's weird because in that solemn energy is where I kind of pulled this intention from today, where I felt I felt a sense of movement in what we're doing right now. I felt a sense of movement in the continuity of what we're doing right now. I felt a sense of movement in my life, in the things I had to get done. I, packaged a bunch of rusks for my mom today, and afterwards I had to wash a motorcycle I got full of mud that other day. And Then I cooked myself a meal. And as I was going through all of these things, doing all of these things, I was listening to not really a podcast. It was more a dedicated 2 hour video on the problem of NFTs right now. So it was educational, if you will. I learned a lot. Most of the information I learned is just causing me concern right now, which I don't necessarily appreciate, but I still learned a lot. And then I was just moving, I was agitated, kind of moving around from one space to another. I started talking to this friend. I've been talking to him for so long, and it always feels like there's a sense of disconnection between me and this person. But we were talking about the general populace, if you will, and how a lot of people, rather, let me rephrase, it is computationally expensive to think about things. So people are willing to accept things already thought, if you will. Like that was the subject matter that we were talking about. And we got into capitalism, we got into the cookie cutter system that we're a part of right now. And then he mentioned the same reason I like reading books, I believe, is the same reason you like meditating, he says to me. And it was almost like a moment of reflection. Like I was asking myself questions about that. And I just mentioned to him that I meditate to spend time with myself. I meditate to stop, to break that movement cycle of like, okay, now this thing, okay, now that thing, okay, now this thing. It's surreal to me because we move so much that we don't leave space for our thoughts, for our ideas, for the things that might be bothering us. It's like there is no room for them in our constant movement, in our constant getting things done, if you will. And that's why I meditate. I meditate to break that cycle, to take a break, to actually calm down for a second and to spend time with myself. And it's weird. It's weird because I'm confronted with this feeling, with this idea that there is both positivity in movement and there can also be negativity in movement when it is applied incorrectly, when it is rushed, or you feel like you have to get it done for the sake of getting the thing done, not so much for the sake of creation. I haven't read this one, but it's the one that stands out to me. Ooh, okay, goodness. Talking about movement, I guess this would be the ultimate one. It starts, we will enter into the transition called death with deliberate consciousness. I will make sure by beginning now that I carry no resentment, that I have forgiven everyone of everything, and as the body does enter the state, I will release the world and require nothing of it. Moving on from this world, I guess, would be a movement as well. Beloved friends, come to understand at this point the true immensity of who you are and what you are. Understand that you are not so much dealing with things in the world as you are dealing with patterns of energy that reflect in some way what is in your consciousness. Movement. Movement. There's a bunch of wind moving across my body right now. The wind took my sun shield. The wind will probably take it again if I try to put it back up. Me being aware of the movement in this realm is prompting me not to move, because I know if I move, I will be required to move again. It's such nonsense. It's such nonsense. But I appreciate being in the smack dab middle of it with you, friends. Thank you. Thank you so much. Who's your hair dealer? Um, I guess my biology, you know, I have this string of four little molecules, you know, that attach themselves to each other in pairs. And then they keep doing that. They really like doing that. And they do it to the point where it builds entire instruction sets to build me. And then it does that. It just straight up does that. It's like a way instruction set, you know, gets put into little proteins. These proteins turn those instructions into molecules, more proteins. And then it grows my hair, dude. It grows my nails. It assembles my body. It repairs my DNA when the sun just wreaks havoc on me. You have it as well, friend. Jacob, thank you for joining us. Cocoa Power, it's nice to have you here again, friend. You're not late. You're here. That's what's important. Talia, wow, those burbs are loud. Yes, they are. They're singing their beautiful songs. I think there's some sort of mating ritual happening right now. Much love to y'all. How are you? I am moving. Talia, I feel that is the most appropriate answer I could give. Even though I might be sitting still, I'm very much in a state of movement. How about you, Talia? I've been pretty good. It's winter here, very cold and snowy, but it's my favorite season. I'm also a big fan of winter, worldly assumptions, but I'm not a fan of the colors. I really like the temperament and the stuff that goes along with that. You know, you get to stay inside, you get to huddle up with your blankets, you get to dress nice and warm, nice and comfy. You can dress pretty sick looking, you can have some tight fits, but especially here in South Africa, the colors kind of suffer. I'm like taking those individual little houses, you know, little bud structures that I broke off with the tweezer, and I'm putting it at the tip so that there is a significant amount of airflow there where it could get blocked. If you're wondering. Howdy there. It keeps glitching. Unfortunately, Coco, Reddit doesn't seem, or at least I think my phone doesn't seem to be the most stable when it comes to streaming to Reddit. The YouTube should be a little bit more stable. You three friends can tell me if it's stable on the YouTube. I'm not sure if I've missed any YouTube comments. I have. Dan says, good morning, brother. I'm feeling much better today. I live in the cradle of civilization. The sun, the birds, everything there is primal and nature. Natural. Natural? Natural. It's true, friend. It really is true, Dan. And I'm kind of astounded by it sometimes. I feel like I'm doing something wrong if I'm not sharing it. You know, that's why I always invite friends over or family members. I'm inviting you into this space. Stable as can be. Soul of Yoga. Thank you. Soul of Yoga. Is that Ryan? Is it Ryan? Might be Ryan. The earth is the cradle of civilization. The universe is the cradle of peoples. You know, we live in a peopling universe. All of movement keeps moving us towards being people. To do what it is we're doing right now. Or me a splur. To have conversations. And to smoke joints. You know, it sounds a little bit comical to say it in that way. Yes. Yes, billions of years of evolution so that I can smoke a joint. And yet, it has happened an infinite amount of times. Movement everywhere. It keeps glitching again, Cable. Yeah, I'm also curious, why is Cable in the hospital so much? I saw him boxing yesterday. I don't know if you've hurt himself. Much love, amazing friend, Tate, my mate. It's so nice to have you. Don't you rate? I appreciate you joining us right now. Thank you, brother bear. I believe in life started. I believe life started in Mother Africa. Technically, we have some evidence for that. We all share the original Eve's mitochondrial cell. because even though all our other cells might change, the original mitochondria cell comes from our mom. Our mom gives us our mitochondria cells. And apparently it's been coming a long time. The YouTube stream is wider. It is, Jacob. It's wider, it's stabler, it should be higher bitrate, higher quality. Separation is important. Without it, cells do not reproduce, and existence itself would not exist. Perfect point. Perfect point. A cell has to move from one state to another, has to move from the unity state into a duality state, into, you know, the and so on and so forth. They quite literally have to separate from one another to make more of itself. And without that separation, fundamental separation, you would just not be. As soon as you were conceived, you would just stay that conceived cell if you didn't start duplicating. The fact that we, you and me, as we're sitting here right now, came from a single cell with two sets of DNA. And then that single cell was like another one next to it, and then those two cells were like 4, and then 8, and then 16, and then now you being able to do shit like this. The fuck? I'm making sound. Wind is as well. You know, what the hell? I can sit here and experience wind because my cells decided to divide. It decided to follow the instructions of my DNA to divide in a way where it started to intelligently divide into different subsets of cells so that I can be what I consider a complete being. But not only do I have human cells duplicating and dividing to make me, but 80% of my DNA, of my cells right now, isn't even human genetics. Stop it, Win, please. Please, Win. Like, I can only fight one force of nature at a time. Nature is like, oh yeah, bitch. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Think you're gonna hide from the sun? No! No! Absolutely not. No wind, no sun for the entire day. Until you need no wind and no sun. Okay, glitchy. And pixelated for me and freezing. Yeah, Reddit. I love Reddit so freaking much. I think it's a fantastic platform. But it's... I said it's bad. Imagine I said it's bad. Imagine I said it's really bad. Imagine. I didn't say it. But just imagine I said it. It's clearer as well. Yes, like it's actually working. This is like YouTube kind of gets streaming kind of right. Streaming is not that difficult. We've like figured out streaming like 11 years ago. But Reddit seems to be having a hard time. Bro, please win. Please, oh, I'm not asking for a lot, though. Please. Can't do that, though. I cannot do that for you. You'll just have to sit in the sun. I'm getting blasted right now. Like this is uncomfortable. I don't want to move. That and the sun and the wind knows that. It knows that I'm comfortable. It wants me to move. You know what? You know what? Today's entire stream is about movement. So I'll concede, universe. Fine. I'll listen. I'm listening. This is me listening. I'll move. Fine. You win. You win, universe. You happy? Universe is smiling right now. Stop it. Stop it. Stop smiling. Come back around here. Put this down. We did want to stream about movement, didn't we? Yes. Yeah. I should have seen this coming from a mile away. I'm not even surprised. It's coming close. That's so gross, baby. That's so disgusting. Getting OnlyFans angles here. I'm sorry. Let's see. No more getting radiation blasted. Success. Yes, I win. I win. Love the 90s flavor cushion. This thing probably comes from the 90s actually. That's the craziest thing, Mariah. Like it's been coming a long way. It used to be on these, what do you call them? Couch frames, and then the cushions go on top of those couch frames, I guess. Now it's not. Now it's underneath my ass. Yeah, you would not have guessed it, but I promise it's true. I want to get a better angle because now we're on a slope and this thing is pointing upwards and I cannot push it back any further, so I'm going to use my flip-flops to pry this thing up. Yes, 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 yes. Movement. Even more movement. I think that's better. Very glitchy. Okay, Tater in the house. So it goes. Your smile immediately removes me from that solemn place. So thank you. You friends showing up, you know, sharing this space with me does the same. Self-portrait. Portrait self. Genuinely, having you friends here with me makes me feel less alone. You know, and if that feeling, if even 10% of what I'm feeling, 10% of the less loneliness I'm feeling, it gets translated, and you can feel less lonely as well as a result of it, that is a blessing. This is a bullet casing that I found on the floor. You know, I've been getting mildly salty with my siblings, just shooting guns all over the farm and leaving their cartridges on the ground. But the alternative is that I have to go and be that brother that's like. So either I should stop getting angry or I should do something about it. But if I do something about it, then I might make people angry. If I don't. Damn it, I freaking left my lighter again. This time I'm not going to not go and get it. I'll be back in a second, friends. Do share the space. Do keep it open for me. Maybe you'll see a puppy chewing on a piece of rabbit. Might be a bit of a yikes, but do bear with me. I'll be back in a second. Share a little bit of a story with you friends. Last night, and you know, take this as it is. I'm also trying to take it as it is as much as I can. But last night I had this dream about, it wasn't necessarily moving, but doing something with my painting, the big painting I have in my room. But this big painting, it's like 3 meters by 1.4 meters, so it's a little bit too big for me to move around comfortably myself. And this big painting is over like a DV board that controls my room. My room is outside of the house. And I wake up this morning and there's no power in my room. And I look at my painting and I realize I'm supposed to take my painting off today, move it, if you will, do the things that I wanted to do. I have these two Garricks of joints I was smoking when I bought it. The original joint, I was smoking this joint sitting on this porch looking out on the farm, and the joint was rolled with the intention to evolve. Evolution was what I wrote on it. And I smoked it, and about through the half of it, I see this post by a friend, and he's posting like a photo of Jupiter, and I tell him, that's amazing, that's gorgeous, what an amazing world we live in. And then the next post on his status, on his WhatsApp status, is a video of him painting this thing, this picture of Jupiter I just commented on, and I realized, oh my goodness, this is a painting by a friend of mine. And I basically start talking to him about it. We have a back and forth. I ask him about what his intentions is to sell it. He tells me that he wants to auction it, hopes to get like $2,000 for it or whatever. And during this, I've rolled on myself another joint, or actually I had a bunch of pre-rolls, and I start smoking the second joint while I'm thinking about this whole scenario. And I basically tell him that I'll give him the $2,000 for it. He doesn't have to go to auction, he doesn't have to worry about that. I'm willing to support him and buy this painting from him. And I did that. And I kept those two Garricks. The one that I made the decision on to actually buy it was the joint of wisdom, if you will. And the one that introduced it to me was the joint of evolution. And every single time I've looked at that painting, I've thought about it in that context. The wind is now like just not allowing me to burn this little sliver of paper off of this paper. Movement everywhere. So much movement. So this morning I took the painting off, I got myself some wood glue, I took those Garricks and I wood glued them to the side of the inside of the panel, you know, the wood frame, the inside of the wood frame panel. And now, and also one glove, you know, now looking at that painting, even though it might not be immediately visible, I'm informed by this underlying knowledge that I have been, that this painting was bought with this idea of evolution and knowledge underlying it, and now quite literally those ideas are stuck to it as a physical thing, you know. 100 years from now, if it's still alive, someone might be able to see that and wonder, what the fuck? Why are these two, you know, Garrick papers stuck to the inside of the frame? Technically 3. I want to maybe do the entire frame. Like, that's what I was thinking about while I was doing it today. I'm just going to do the entire frame, but the inside of that frame with a bunch of beautiful intentions. And upon trying to put it back, I decided that I want movement in the painting as well. So I flipped it completely, you know, 180 degrees and put it on the wall like that. So it is upside down in context of what it used to be for the last, it's almost a year now. And it's more movement. It's more movement. And I wonder how that movement is going to affect me as well. Quite the entire thing is like a picture of Jupiter's storms. You know, some of the most turbulent, intense, you know, forms of movement that we can witness in our immediate Milky Way, not Milky Way, solar system. Something, because of its movements, because of its gravity, has saved the planet probably from multiple extinction events. And then I move as well. I move through this realm, I move through the lives of others, I move through my own life. And I wonder how all of these things that might seem small, you know, like having a dream that you're changing something on your painting, and the next morning absolutely having to take the painting off to get to the DV board. You You know, like not even being left a choice whether or not you want to move. Just like being like, okay, movement is the next option. It's like either you move or then there's no more movement in this direction. Whew. Yo, okay. I'm a little bit out of it. Smiling. Who's not? I'm just reading it again. Portrait self. Thank you so much, my friend. Talia, hello to you. I am also a very solitude person, so it doesn't help. Or maybe it does. I don't know. I think we should just have balance. Portrait self. We should have balance. It's okay to appreciate and spend time with ourselves, but we shouldn't only do that. I think, at least. Much love to you, Merman. Merman. No. Same here, portrait. It's my normal mostly, but it gets me down sometimes and gets a bit too down. I go through the exact same thing, Heather. Like if I feel sometimes, you know, just the 22 hours between streams, if you will, can feel like I'm spending a lot of time by myself. Like I'll spend 4 hours completely alone and I'll be like, goodness, it's been so long since I've not been alone. Oh, we should crowdfund Wi-Fi that will reach to that rock. That would make a very ethereal backdrop. It's not a bad idea. Technically, Brother Bay, you've already crowdfunded it. If that is what you want, I'll see what a Wi-Fi bouncer, duplicator, I think you call it a bouncer, right? What it costs. I think it should be around $100 or $200. So if we hit the second month on the Patreon, we'll actually have the funds to do that, Brother Bear. So you've crowdfunded it. You've already done it, dude. So I think that might be a good idea. Maybe we can get some more range, move a little bit more freely. I don't know, like what I'm looking forward to is for Starlink, honestly. I really want Starlink to be a thing worldwide already, so we can get decent internet. I've already had this conversation with my siblings. They didn't miss a beat. I was like, when Starlink becomes available, I'm gonna get Starlink. And they're like, yes, yes, please. South Africa is brutal. We're paying $100 a month for 25 megabits up, 25 megabits down. Yeah, it's not that great. It's better than it used to be. Like we started off, the very first Wi-Fi we had was a 500 kilobit per second line. So we're waiting. Me too, brother. They say mid 2022 for us. Fingers crossed for Elon. Fingers crossed for humanity, Brother Bear. You know what I'm seeing? Like I'm seeing so many things. Is that there is a weird world coming. And a part of this weird world, the internet is going to be a very big part of it. And we're moving into a space where cell phones are relatively affordable right now. And now internet is going to truly become global. Wherever you are in the world, you will have access to the internet. And I'm happy that people who have the means to realize things like that for people are trying to. I hope it's good. I hope with collective hope it will be. Good morning, Slack. Thank you for joining us, my friend. So sorry for missing you for so long. I too want to chew dead things next to you. I mean, Cocoa Power, if I cook, you know, Vomit Slack, a delicious meal, technically, even if it's completely vegetarian, she still would be chewing dead things next to me. Thank you. Puppies are doing great. They are. They're so cry-ish, if that makes sense. Like I worry so much. Sometimes I tune into Auntie or like Uncle Becky's stream, and I just hear these puppies like crying profusely, like someone is stepping their backs off or something, and then it's just like one of the other pups chewing on its ear or something. I'm like, bro, why are you being so dramatic? My cell bills are nearly $300 a month. That is how we get our service. ghastly expensive. That's ridiculous, dude. What the fuck? I one finger crossed. Well, two fingers crossed, four fingers crossed, six fingers crossed, eight fingers crossed, 10 fingers crossed, arms crossed, and more. All the freaking crosses for you, dude. $300. That's ridiculous. That she's doing it again, where she's just like sitting on me. Are you comfy? Are you comfy like that? Plus, be strong, loving vibes when even a glitchy, pixelated melt brings the smiles and sense of relief as it melts the lonely away. Hello, we love and appreciate you, my friend. I'm sorry that the Reddit is a little bit spicy. Oh, 4477. Thinking about you right now, Heather. As I was saying, it's like trippy that it's actually happening at the same time. Yay, faith and humanity restored. Thank you, Ulrich Assumption. Love you, my friend. What kind of verbs? The winged type, I believe. You know, they have wings and stuff. They have mouthpieces, I guess. They have eyes. I've seen. I'm so sorry. I know some of them. You know, if I can look at it, I can maybe give you a name. Katlachter. Quail. I guess, but I'm really bad. My grandma is actually like an astute bird watcher. She'd be able to tell me. Hi, Melt. Love you. Hey, everyone. Sending peace and light and lots of love. Diana, thank you for your love and your light, my friend. Sending it right back. I hope you and your family are thriving. Get a burps. Hair is like knowledge. The more you have, the more you. Yeah, you know, I think I'm losing my hair, and at least at some rate. Technically, we're always losing hair, and then they regrow again. I've believed I've been losing my hair since I was 18, so maybe I'm just placeboing myself, tripping myself out unintentionally. But hair is weird. Yes. You know, like one day I was just staring at my head, like I was combing my hair or something, and I was just thinking to myself, the fact that I am corralling millions of different things, you know, millions of things that kind of want to do this in their own direction. I'm like, no, go here. And then I have these apparatuses with like little teeth, if you will, that corral these little entities that we call hair. Yeah, I guess that's a weird thought to have, but all of it's weird. The Cornell Lab of Orthology may have a free bird app for that. Like you take a photo and it identifies it. Like if I had like a really good zoom lens, maybe that would be great. DNA is a giant topic for itself. We just know that it's a recipe for all amino acids and proteins. But how do we know where to go and literally everything? I mean, it's all a trip, Talia. You know, we human beings have figured things out. We figured these things out. And it gives us a sense of certainty. We're like, oh yeah, we fucking know how to do things. Us human beings, we're so clever. And yet, we do not understand ourselves. We do not even understand how we are in the way we are right now. We don't understand any of it. We're just like, yeah, this is just kind of how it is. We came into it like this. We got taught math from a very young age. Oh, so much nonsense. Mm. It's so weird because your movement again isn't necessarily affected by this knowledge as much. You know, I believe the way we move through this world is very similar to the way our ancestors moved through this world as well. Maybe we're using technology to move ourselves faster, but we're still moving for the same reasons. And it's trippy. The more things we learn, the more reasons we give ourselves to move. But now we're reaching a point where the information, the intention to move for ideas have inspired us to not to want to do that, to want to not move. And now, without moving, technically, we can have a conversation. Usually we would have to move ourselves. If to have this exact conversation, every single, like the accumulative, like let's see, there is 58 friends, divine individuals in this space with us right now, including me. That's 59 people. I would have to travel around 12,000 kilometers to get to America right now. And you friends, if we were all going to reach a centralized point, would have probably traveled like 1,000 or so, kilometers as well. So collectively, it might have been like 100,000 kilometers, like 60,000 miles that would have to be traveled. That time would have to be spent, the money would have to be spent just for us to be able to be in this moment together with one another. So instead of now moving our physical beings, we move our attentions, we move our awareness into a different space. And that's where we're finding ourselves now. And all of the movement that we experience in our lives has allowed us to almost cease some of that movement here. And it's surreal. You are surreal. Like you're an infinity. Just think about this, the amount of stuff you've been through in your life. And here we are. I don't have perfect insight into your life right now, and I try to find out as much as I can if you're sharing with me. But I believe I can say with some certainty, in this moment we're safe. In this moment we have a level of calm, a level of certainty that the world isn't ending, if you will, right? We can cease our movement for a second because we're not being chased by anything. Missed your message there, Dan. I guess that's the point. DNA is a great topic. I was born in the winter solstice, and I think I'm made for the cold. Must be, or the assumption you're just built different, if you will. Wait, have you experienced winter, Mel? No, not like your winters. The coldest winter I've experienced is -5 degrees Celsius ever. But I've never seen snow in my life, so not really a real winter. Oh yeah, my hair basically is a timeline of all my trips. Hair is such a good example for your body literally creating itself from what you feed it. Yeah, actively building you. Like the whole, you become what you eat, you are what you eat. Yes, yes, in fact. And it's weird, it's very weird, but yes, you would love it. And a good -20 degrees Celsius. I still can't comprehend how y'all deal with those temperatures. Hats off to you. It's probably all that warmth in your hearts that allow you to live in that cold. That's a beautiful thing to say, Talia. Good morning! Toast to my lowest. How are you doing, Brother Bear? It's so nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Toast gave me some constructive criticism on the podcasts. We have started to have more structure applied over them. Like one of Christian's gripes, he wanted to stop doing the podcasts. And I was like, absolutely fucking not. I love having conversations with you, and I believe that you bring, good conversations to the table. And he was like, but I feel like it's too chaotic and there's not enough direction, or we have no direction and we just like scatter into different topics. And I was like, okay, instead of lamenting about this problem, now you are the one responsible for the topics. And he was like, okay, fine, sick, I'm down for it. And we had our first topic talking about the expanse, or rather talking about us as individuals 300, 200 years into the future in an expanse-esque world. And we discussed, a few problems, a few ideas, a few interpretations of that world. We got into AI a little bit and how that would be absolutely necessary if we want to become a spacefaring civilization. And Toast, had a good time listening to it, at least. A better time than the previous ones, which is like genuinely encouraging to me. I'm like, you're sick. It's getting better. Fantastic. The most magical moment I've ever witnessed was a Jamaican friend seeing snow for the first time and sticking his face into the snow of a car hood. Epic. That sounds beautiful. Aiden, brother, Aiden. Thank you for joining us, for sharing this space. How are you doing? Oh, I don't want to throw you under the bus. How are your projects coming along? I guess. How are you? How are you feeling, friend? So moms hold the power. Yeah, they do. They do actually, Worldly Assumption. Go and do some research about that. You'll be fascinated. Good morning, Toasty. All good. Stop. I can only find one. I can only find one force of nature. I'm happy you felt that one as well. Like I cracked myself up with that one, Talia. So much love to you. Morning, Talia. Feeling groovy. How are you? I'm happy to hear that, Toast. Man, it makes me so happy to hear that. Hello to you, Jem, beloved sister. Reddit is my favorite social media platform, but it's slowly becoming more and more biased and controlled. And I'm unfortunately seeing that as well, Worldly Assumption, and it really makes me sad because that's why I chose to start streaming here, is because it wasn't so biased and controlled. It was the wild wild west, sheer chaos in a platform. But I guess that's not very advertiser friendly. I really don't. I'm saying it very, very softly because, my future self is like, hey, bro, you need to make a living, son. But I'm good, but I quit my job and I feel a lot better. Still waiting on seeds. Okay, I'm so happy to hear that, brother bear. Quit your job for any particular reason? Do you feel you were being mistreated? I'm happy to hear you're feeling better. That's what's most important. You're right. I love me some Mel, but I'm a pass on the chewing dead things next to Mel. I mean, no matter what we eat, even if you're eating a chocolate bar, you'd be eating dead things. There's not a lot of live food that you actually can eat. Puppy, sis. Brought one of the dead things to me. Welcome, man has live. Thank you so much for the love. Is that a tree fort? It's a tree seat. Worldly Assumption. It is a tree seat. Maybe I'll go and sit on it as our finale for this stream. No complaints here. I'm drawing while I watch. How are you, friend? I'm so happy to hear that. Jem, before I started this stream, I was thinking about that as this space almost being like a creative conduit. We come together and we're all creative for at least an hour a day, and then we can go about our business, whatever it is we need to get done in the world, if you will, after having been a little bit creative, at least for a bit of it. The fact that you are being creative right now genuinely encourages me. Hello to you, Jenny. Thank you for joining us, my sister. How are you doing, friend? My job was really burning me out. It was too loud and it was stressful, and I had a lot of weird smells. Ugh. It was just too much for my sensory issues. Oh goodness. Smell, Aiden, like knowing me, knowing how similar you are to me. Smell, dude. Like, you just had to say that first. If you tuned me, there were a bunch of bad and weird smells at my workplace, I'd be like, oh, I understand completely. So completely. How did you not leave earlier? I'm happy that you did, friend. I'm happy that you don't have to deal with that anymore. What did I miss? Is he running away from the wind? All that missing in the flight and tumbleweed sound. It was about movement. We're talking about movement, Heather. So, like the world was like, okay, want to talk about movement? How about you live movement? How about that? And I was like, okay, but I don't really want to. And I was like, yeah, I guess you cannot talk about movement then, comfortably. I have to move in order to be comfortable. And now I can be comfortable not having to move. Yeah. But waiting to move to a different job. It's not going fast enough for me. Need more movement. Okay, Jenny. You see, again, just with what I just said, you want to move in order to be comfortable. But the odd thing is that sometimes we have to find comfort before we're allowed to move. I found, at least I thought I found a comfortable spot, and I put my streaming setup down. And then, upon trying to sit down, the sun came out, and I had to move again to make myself comfortable. And I feel it could be the same thing with this job, but we don't always have that much agency. I'm sure it will happen for you, my friend, day by day, moment by moment. We'll be here with you throughout all of it. Rempi's bunk. I don't know what that means, friend. Oh, beautiful woman in a van. I'm good too. Thank you for the hugs, infamous one. You've been missed, my friend. How have you been? How's life been treating you? How's this new year been? I'm doing a wolf on my new gray sketchpad. A wolf. Are you doing a stylized wolf or are you doing a realistic wolf, Jim? Our intention for smoking today is movement. As I smoke this, the burning tip moves closer and closer to me. The movement of it inadvertently causes it to have less room to move in. Oh, for me, it's just instinct not to freeze to death. Though I do love cuddles and the snuggy clothes. That does sound amazing. Oh yes, of course, Heather. Cuddles. Yeah. I'm just gonna say, yeah. I haven't cuddled another being in. Hasn't been that. Well, it's been 2 years now. Yeah. There was a friend I had in China who I just cuddled with. There was nothing sexual behind that. And it was so, let's say, new to me. Because I've never had a relationship with anybody that I cuddled with that I wasn't sexually involved with as well. But me and her were just friends. And like I don't even remember how that happened. I think I just straight up asked her. I think I did it jokingly. I was like, you know, you look really cuddleable or something like that, or I really could use some cuddles. And she was like, okay. I was like, okay. And it was what I needed at that point in my life. It was a movement, I guess, but not in the way that I usually moved. And I feel that experience informed me a lot about what I think I need as well. I feel after that experience, I really calmed down about finding someone. I've always, for a long time, I had this urgency. You know, after I got into a relationship when I was 16 for 2.5 years, and then after that, I got into a relationship again, like 2 months after, and then after that relationship, I was just looking for another relationship, but I haven't been in a real relationship since, and that is now 3.5 years ago. Going on year 4. I jokingly said to a friend today that I wouldn't be surprised if I have to spend 10 more years single before I'll find someone. And I've set that number in my mind so that I'll be comfortable with it. You know, if I'm 33 years old and I still haven't found the love of my life, if you will, I'll be like, okay. I guess this is the way it is. We're gonna keep moving regardless. And I feel a part of my moving nature is why I'm setting like a 10-year time span. I feel in the next 10 years there's going to be so much movement in my life, in our lives, that it would be, the word that's coming to mind is irresponsible. It would be irresponsible to get into a relationship. The wind is taking I posted what I have so far in the Creative Space channel. Thank you for sharing, Jam. I'd love to see. I'm going to go and check. Isn't movement fascinating? Like the change in perception, even with movement. Ever sit upside down on a couch and see the change? See the change? See how it changes the way you look at things? Yeah. What is Starlink? Starlink. It is basically a low Earth orbit satellite grid that communicates via lasers amongst itself and broadcasts information down onto a satellite dish. That's the gist of it. So they have launched, I think, is it 5,000 of them? Some like ridiculous number. Satellites into the air. They want to launch like 45,000 into the air in the 550 to 450 kilometer range in our atmosphere. It basically spins around, but they can only hit a small little section of the planet at a time. But there are so many of them that they can communicate between lasers amongst each other and then transfer information from one point through the satellite laser system to another point on the planet, reducing latency down to like 30 milliseconds worldwide, where right now we have like 190 millisecond latency intercontinent. And for the financial industry, lower latency is very tasty. For the gaming industry, lower latency is very tasty. And for people that are kind of in inaccessible regions where it doesn't really make sense to pull actual light fiber all the way to your house, the Starlink is going to make a big difference. Cell phones make us cyborgs, and they do. So these things are extensions of us, quite literally. We're at a point in our existences where we live with like internet and electricity as human needs. Like you need electricity, you need access to the internet as a human being to function in the society. And some people have a lot of apprehension to that. They think it's a bad thing because like, oh, we're disconnecting from our roots as human beings. Where are we going? Nowhere. We're here, aren't we? Even though we have these things, we've always been right here, and we're always going to be right here. It might not be the same us, but it still will be the fundamental I. And that fundamental I will use whatever environment, whatever tools is presented to it, and the tools that we have kind of walked into. Since I was born, this internet has existed. Since I was 5 years old, I've known how to use it. Hey, puppy! Oh, she's barking at a shongololo. Huh? What's this? What's this? Huh? What's this, puppy? What's this? Shongololo. Let's see if he's going to try and make his way off. So, what I'm trying to say is even though the internet, our cell phones are extensions of ourselves, and we are by extension cyborgs already, we shouldn't see it as a bad thing, because there is no separation. There is no separation. The internet is just as much a part of us as we are, as just as much as part of us as we have been putting our collective wish forward for it. And it's going to continue being that way. It's like this driving force that is divine mind that wants to think. And now, as a collective species, we are developing something called general artificial intelligence, or artificial general intelligence, which basically means an artificial machine that can think in general terms, as a human being would be able to. And when we figure out how to do that, it means that we can quite literally render 1 billion human beings. And then those billion human beings we can turn into billions or millions of, smaller teams. And then we can set those teams to think of a task. And then we can set that thinking task team and we can duplicate that billions of times. And then we can solve human problems. We can think human things at a rate that would never be possible for normal humans, if you will. And then we can Dyson sphere an entire freaking star and turn all of that into processing power. We can. We're going there. Is it bad? Is it good? Or is it a possibility within the infinity? And all things that are possible eventually will become realized. I'm just happy that we are where we are. That's all I'm gonna say. I think we're in a good part of it. Not saying any of it is bad. I'm just saying that we are in a arguably good part of it. No, Jenny, sometimes I think of the internet as a hive mind. It is that. Absolutely. 100%. We're contributing to that hive mind right now. It sounds weird when you say hive mind. Collective mind, maybe. Women, I just look for it. Damn, there are so many fine lines for that fur. Beautiful so far. It has some special energy to it because of the white color on the gray background. Thailand has free public Wi-Fi almost everywhere. There we go. Arzadi. That's pretty cool actually. I 100% is Jenny. It 100% is Jenny. Yeah, 100% Mariah. No doubt. Could you use a hotspot or does that work for Wi-Fi? Yeah. I mean, a hotspot technically is, a mobile, usually a SIM card, mobile SIM card, and then it uses your phone's internal Wi-Fi antenna to create a broadcast service that you can tune into, and then you can use that LTE network. I feel that is the reason humans don't hive mind naturally. I feel that is the reason. Like Mariah, these are just thoughts. I'm not sure what that reason is that you mean. I feel the reason we're not hive-minded naturally is because we grow up with a singular ego. Like there's a single kind of timeline of events that happen to us constantly, and then that becomes our ego, this understanding of ourselves, the layers upon layers that we put onto our perception, because we're just perceiving, we're aware, and then the things that we are aware of, we start to tell ourselves stories about that, and then some of those stories start to loop, if you will, start to become true, start to become reinforced by the biases that we see in this world, and that, I believe, becomes our ego. And because of that process, it isolates us from the rest of the world to believe ourselves sometimes victims of it. And we cannot hive mind because of that, because we're now this small, insignificant node in this whole, instead of being part and parcel to the whole, in the same way that this tree is supposed to be here, I'm supposed to be here. It's all interconnected, if you will. I feel humans, I'm okay. I think we are capable, very capable of hive mind thinking. Like we can tune into a certain consciousness that allows us to realize a oneness. And that oneness could be seen as a hive mind, but it can also be seen as the original mind turned into smaller nodes for active processing or action even. So technically we already are that hive mind. We just sometimes, usually, believe ourselves not to be. And it's also weird because I also, again, just thoughts. I'm not saying that's how it is. That's just how I've experienced it. And it's to final this thought off. What I'm saying is that fundamentally within me and you, there is this awareness peering into this world right now. As we look down at our hands, the hands I see in front of me are not that different to the hands you're seeing in front of you. They might be a little bit older, they might have a few different lines. Your your nails might be a little bit different than mine. You might not have some peppy scars on your hands, but you're looking at hands. These five-fingered hands. Maybe you have four fingers. It's also okay. We're looking at these hands and we can open and close them. We can make things happen. And that awareness of I can make these things happen, I believe is the same in every single one of us. And that part of us is interconnected as divine mind, as a hive mind. And we are these individual nodes living within that divine mind. Thank you very much. You can call me Jem. I've tried to. I'm in a van. Thank you so much, my friend. Hello, Bit. It's been a while, friend. How have you been? I have to go to work, to a work meeting. If I don't see your smiling face again today, I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for your company and beautiful words. We have a dance stream that's coming up, a thank you dance stream a little bit later. I'm waiting for it to get a little bit dark. We're going to use the glow whip, the light whip. I feel it looks extremely cool, but I don't know if I want to say it. I feel I might enjoy dancing with a scarf more, just because I can be a lot more aggressive. I feel like when I'm dancing with a light whip, I'm not aggressive, and I'm not aggressive as in like, oh, I'm angry at something. I just move with ferocity, and I cannot move with ferocity if I have something fragile in my hand. Where the scarves, albeit fragile, they don't break as easy. They do break still. Because people think I am our house pay to 120 each. Yes, two people. I'm our house pay. I don't exactly understand what that means, Heather. I'm sorry. Oh, hey, I started dancing in the morning today. It helps me to be present in my body. Just like I've been thinking about dancing so much, Jenny, and the fact that you mentioned that presence within your body, I've been thinking about mind using body as a means to almost experience information or move information. So there's all of this potential information out there in the world all the time of positions in which your arms could be. If you had a long exposure, long exposure. Is it long exposure? Like it keeps the sensor open for a long time, and then it keeps that frame instead of like washing it away every time. Eventually, there would be no spaces, even in 3 dimensions where my arm has not been. And technically, all of those spaces are infinitely available to you in superposition. And then when you dance, you basically make yourself aware of your ability to influence yourself within superdimensionality. And it makes you present because you realize instead of being in a superposition, you are here. Instead of being uncertain, you have a level of certainty within yourself. Jenny, thank you for sharing that, my friend. Thank you for the clever. I appreciate you, D. Mm, did you just describe a bird? Kind of two wings in a mouth. Like when someone asks me to identify anything, I like to go, as ridiculous as I can. You know me, Heather. Gem suits you well. No, thank you, Talia. DNA melts my mind. Me too, Toasty. I've been I've been trying to melt my mind even more with it by trying to consciously express into my DNA positivity, or like I'm saying positivity, but actually I think about brain derived neurotropic factor. I think about testosterone. I think about, and when I say think about, I'm like, I want to upregulate this part of my DNA. I think about down regulating myostatin responses or expression in my body. Myostatin is something that tells your muscles to stop growing. Um, I think about serotonin, DMT, and dopamine upregulation as well as a function of my DNA. And there's another one that I'm now forgetting. My telomeres, that's the one. I ask for my telomeres to degrade slower. And it might all be contrived nonsense, you know. None of it might do anything, but it melts my mind, Toast. Oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. If anything, I just remind my body, or I remind my mind that my body is doing these things. Yes, see. Brain derived neurotropic factor. That stuff. If we can figure that out, if we can really figure that out, we're gonna be pretty home free. Oh, hey, I started dancing. Cartha, hello, Melt. Have a good stream. I'll be in and out today. I'll check you when you're in and out, Cartha. Thank you for joining us. There's a snake behind you in the tree. It might be. Y'all see amino acids code themselves in real time. It's absolutely insane. It's fractals. They are these three-dimensional little fractals. Proteins folding themselves. There's no joke, yo. Like, and that's happening right now as you're sitting there, as you're breathing air. Your body is doing so much just to keep you alive. So much, so freaking much. Thank you. Thank you for doing so much, body. You try so hard. I'm trying for you as well these days, dude. I hope you've noticed. I'm trying to eat better. I'm eating spinach and tomatoes and eggs. I'm not eating vegetable oils anymore. You did mention that you don't like that. After I stopped eating vegetable oils and then started eating vegetable oils, well, eating a little bit of vegetable oils again, my body was like, oh yeah? Oh yeah? Was not having a good time. Fine, buddy. Thank you, though. Thank you. I appreciate everything you do. Dude, watch out for real. Thank you, friend. It'll be okay. I need to start taking better care of myself. Yes, you do, Kartha. We all do. You know, and not because you're doing something wrong, because you have to feel guilty because you're not taking care of yourself. Because you love yourself. You love this thing that has been with you, that has served you your entire existence. You love yourself. So take care of yourself, not because, you know, you have to look a certain way or this other person does this, so you have to be, no. Because you love yourself. That's why we do these things. Stony Pineapple, we love you too, friend. No, not that toasty. Not that toasty, but I've seen the way molecular walkers move. Goodness. Just like these little protein for protein, pulling it along. Stillness is the move. There we go, friend. Blushing in the sky. Thank you for joining us, my friend. I think, you know, getting into the topic we're in right now, you would love to have this conversation. This man is out there, safe until the snake gets you, my friend. And if the snake gets me and I die, I'm not really scared of that. Not at all, to be completely honest. It will just be a continuation of energy. As there always is a continuation of energy. What makes you believe that non-experience exists, dude? What makes you believe that non-experience exists when reality, as we think we see it, is not even appearing as it is, dude? We're seeing a sliver, like a fraction of what is, and it's beautiful. It's just think about that. We're seeing a sliver of reality, and it is breathtaking. It's sometimes too much to handle. Movement, sometimes too much to handle. Really great podcast this week. I'm looking forward to the next one out there. Now I'm committed, dude. I'm driven. I want to be on your podcast, please, Heather. Please, please. I just don't know if I'm intelligent enough to carry the conversations y'all have. Heather, there's no such thing as being intelligent enough. Like, even if you don't consider go back also. Even if you consider yourself unintelligent, like, bear with me. Even if you consider yourself unintelligent and you make a comment that might be seen as unintelligent, that would still be a perspective within the whole, and that perspective can lead to potential insight. So even if it might be the case, it would still be of value. You are of infinite value regardless. Leave up on it. Pepe, cease. I see the rest of the dead thing she's been eating. It's that big of a dead thing. And there's like a bunch of ants and stuff running over it. Thank you for listening to me. We barely scraped by on the bills yesterday. We have $1.25 left of mall. Time to move forward. I've been applying for months and still no job. Now it's entirely necessary, so I must find a way. What are your skills, Cartha? Do you have any skills right now, my friend? I'm curious, actually. And like the reason I'm asking is because I want to think in that direction with you. I dance with my hair in a ponytail. It's so much fun. Whipping it around. Technically a dancing scarf of its own. You know, when it gains life almost when you do that. 10 out of 10. I'm also a big Expanse fan. I'm a big Expanse fan, Toast. And I wanted to say this to you in text, but I think I can say it to you now. I just feel if our technology is Expanse level in 350 years, that's about the time frame that Expanse plays off in. Like, we're gonna wreck, dude. Like, something went wrong. Like, I feel we would have made a lot more technological progress than the Expanse showed for the amount of time that has passed, apparently. How do you feel about that, Toast? But I'm interested. Whoa. Nothing really that you could consider as a career, but I've invested around 3K in music over the years and still haven't finished a song. So maybe it's time I start. Cartha, that's the way, my friend. That would be the way. If you've been investing time into your music, you know, and you felt like this is something that's important, and you feel now you need to absolutely dedicate yourself to something, choose what you love. Choose what you feel, you know, brings your soul value. Where can I find this podcast? It's on YouTube. It's called Melting Dreams. One word. You should be able to find it. Thank you for asking, Jam. Heather, don't you worry about that. You're perfectly smart the way you are. I'd love to hear whatever you feel like sharing. You see, that's what I should have said. But no, I had to be spicy. Thank you, Talia. Love you, Cartha. Time to find my path and move with myself. Absolutely, friend. Just move in a direction and start moving in that direction. Because as soon as we start moving in a direction, we gain momentum. We gain so much momentum. All you have to do is start. All you have to do is start, right? Yeah, you just have to start and then you can do things. But you have to start. You have to start moving somewhere. Otherwise, you're gonna sit down. You're gonna sit down like Puppy girl. Shamash? Shamash? I don't know anything about 6'5". I also don't know anything about 6'5". So we have something in common there, actually, Heather. I need a link. I'm drawing as I watch, and I'm pissed. Looks at computer, looks at screen, looks at keyboard, looks at mouse. I have to use all of these things. Thank you for the love, Jam. I set the limit at no dead things with hair still on it. Exactly. Oh! Hey, relax yourself. Okay, you'll see, man. Aiden is joining us on the Reddit. I'm on the Reddit stream and the YouTube. Maybe Streamception. I mean, like Streamception plus time dilation. Where you go to cuddling another bit of mush. Of course. Now, suddenly 90% of my brain capacity falls away. Now I cannot say clever things, Puppy. What have you done? You have stolen my brain powers. Thank you for the tag, or for the link, actually, Toast. I appreciate that. Thank you for a million subbed, and we'll be listening very soon. Melt sounding a lot like Lost Girls Your Way. Thank you so much, Talia. I'm patiently waiting. I'm patiently waiting. I can comfortably wait 10 years, for cuddles. I am an infinite being. 10 years won't be that much. Like suddenly she was like, should I not be chewing? I will chew you back. So I thought, yeah. I thought. Today's topic aligns with my day today. It's the first day since quitting my job. I felt motivated to get up and do things. I have plans with friends and my grandma and plans to apply for a new job. That sounds amazing, Jacob. Thank you, my brother Bay, for sharing that with me. I'm happy that you feel some synchronicity in this moment. Ouch! Can't do that, yo. Can't do that. You'll see. You'll see, oh. You'll see. Like she worked it back slowly but surely and got my thumb in between her molars. And just like, bit down. Just bit down on me. I can bite down too, Melt, I've been longer for me. I live with someone. Oh, Heather. I hope you have, one of these at least. One of these little monsters. They can cuddle a little bit at least. I mean, the cuddling. Ow! Is a little bit violent. Violent cuddling at this moment, but cuddling nonetheless. Cuddles don't have to be sexual or romantic at all, and neither do kisses. IMO. I think I would have a hard time kissing someone unromantically. I feel it would kind of take away from what makes kissing enjoyable. Don't you think, Pippi? What's this? Oh, this piece of dirt. Cuddles don't kissing IMO. There's just an expression of deep appreciation, whether it's romantic or friendly, isn't determined by the action, but the understanding the parties connect with it. Romantic or where was feeling supposed to go? Or feeling isn't determined. Yeah, romantic or feeling isn't determined. Okay, there we go. Not friendly. My brother, thank you, Talia, for sharing that actually. My brother was single for over 10 years. He was sure he'd be that way forever. Then he met someone. They got married last summer, and it's something no one ever thought they'd see. That makes me so happy to hear, Heather. Good for your brother. It gives me hope. I'm calm at least. I have realized a level of, I guess, self-love and self-appreciation finally, that I don't feel I need someone to supplement that. And for the longest time, I really needed someone to supplement that. Weirdly enough, getting into a relationship is what stoked the flames of me starting to love myself more. It allowed me to believe I'm lovable, and that helped, definitely. There you go. I hope you haven't kissed a dog romantically. Thank goodness, no. It's usually just like me peck kissing her on the cheek. Okay, I'll stop now. Yeah, like mucus, I'm not a big fan of. Like she knows she's not allowed to lick me, not on my face at least. But I am allowed to give her little smooches. Congrats to your brother. I was loved genuinely once and I ruined that relationship. If I can't maintain a relationship with someone who loves me for who I am, how can I maintain any relationship? Maybe one day things will be different. Gartha, it has to start with us, friend. It has to start with us. We have to move within ourselves to a space where we are better. Not better, when it comes to like we're bad right now, just better when it comes to a state of our equilibrium. And if we can be comfortable in that state, I think we will allow ourselves to be happy in relationships as well. But we have to do that internal work. Don't think because you've had that true love experience, it was the only one you'll ever be allowed to have, brother bear. You're worthy. You're worthy of love. Absolutely jam. Stuck listening to Taiwanese metal music. Hi, Mami. Thank you for joining us. Uh, bro, how's it? Doing well. Let's go. Thank you for joining us, friend. Yo, that girl is mad talented, Mami. I don't know if I know who your friends are talking about. I woke up late after that. Colonel is here with us. That's a lot to have on your mind at once. Yeah. No, I wanted to say, oh, welcome to my life, but then it sounded kind of pompous. That's just how it is sometimes, friend. I feel there's always a lot on our minds. And allowing myself to kind of explore those things in these spaces, I feel gives my mind some sort of rest and solace in, yes, it's been explored a little bit at least. Now, all of these thoughts you've had have been manifested, expressed, felt somewhat in a real sense. And it allows me some room to think about other things as well. I'm absolutely loving your energy lately, right? Slag is an absolute blessing. I've been lightly dosing here. She is, unfortunately, she gets some hate. I went up against someone throwing terrible comments her way, and now the person is trawling through my Reddit history. Ugh. Man, people are weird. Like oh, the Taiwan, okay. The the Taiwanese girl that plays all of those different cool instruments. I don't know if she was still on Reddit actually. I think it must have been a while. The rage grows down, and the poor being shame they're missing out on the loveliness of Mammy Mam. Shame indeed. That's whack. She's so talented and really good stage presence. Yeah, absolutely. You know, she does what she does very well. And for some reason, people really don't like that. They see it and they're like, what the fuck? This person is doing what they're doing well. I can't do that. You don't need to. Why do you feel like you need to? Do you feel you're going to be less if you can't do something? No, never. You're enough, just as you are. I'm painting as I watch. Yes, we're right. 2 for 2, friends. 2 for 2. I was just sharing with Jem. When I was setting up stream today, I was imagining this world where these streams turn into like the context that I was thinking it in was like a personal contract or a social contract that you make. Then when we come into this space, we spend the time we have in this space trying to be as creative as possible. What I'm doing right now is my creative pursuit, expression, if you will, and it could, you know, you could be creative, especially in the arts, while listening to something as well. The fact that Jem and you now, Mariah, are making art as you're, you know, tuning into the space, it makes me so happy. Flows where the flow is flowing, bro. I heard you like flow, yo. I added a little bit there. Thank you so much, Mariah. That's beautiful. I thought I'd try to walk them around. I fear it's time wasted, so I had to block them and ban them from my book club subreddit that I mod. Yes, they went there and dropped like Steam. Of course. Kom her also. Still posting the dead thing. People who go through people's Reddit history looking for ammo for a flame campaign. Desperate, desperate. Yeah. I guess that's just, you know, humans want to have power. They think if they can extract some sort of information that gives them some sort of power. No. In fact, I know all it's amazing and plays the Taiwanese instrument so well. She does. Been a while. Good to see you again. Matt 8-bit. It's been a while indeed, my friend. Thank you for joining us again. How are you doing? You can't stop what's coming. That's vanity. No country for old men. Movie quote. You can't stop what's coming. That's vanity. That's interesting. Because I always thought of vanity as, you know, oogling over your own beauty. But I guess if you are very vain you also wouldn't necessarily want to age and become old, and then you're trying to stop what's coming. We are, we are stopping what's coming. But is it vain? Is it vanity? Or is it a want to experience? Is 100 years enough? I guess I'll know if I'm there, right? What a movie. I haven't seen it actually, Mammy. I still need to. How do you spell Pippi? Pippi is actually Pippi. That's the way that we spell it. Mammy, thank you for asking, friend. What you got ain't nothing new. The country's hardened people. You can't stop what's coming. That's vanity. Tommy Lee Jones talking to his uncle, Ellis, at the end, trying to figure out the now and why. It's trippy. Thank you, Blushing, for sharing that. She's so precious. She is human creation, putting her soul out there, quite literally. People are strange. People are strange when you're a stranger. I don't know the rest of the lyrics, but people are strange when you're a stranger. If you don't want to get to know someone, want to see the person behind them, then they will be strange to you. Happy Australia Day. Happy Australia Day to you too. Good. Thank you for joining us. Wash them hands after. Dead stuff, bacteria, all of them thieves. Oh yeah. No, I've done it a few times, Toast. Freaking dirty girl. But I love her too much, dude. Good. Don't lick me. Not of that disgusting face. Society holds a lot of stock in physical intimacy. It's because of this thing, dude. This molecule. I have to show it now. She's like, oh, why is he pointing at himself? That thing. That molecule is called oxytocin. It's what gets released when I do this. Mush, mush, mush. Mush, 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 mush. Mush, 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 mush. Mush, 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 mush. Mush, 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 mush. Oxytocin. I'm going through her brain. Going through my brain. Was my letter right? Start to think about that. So, it's not only society, Toast, but it's biologically ingrained in us. And that's why I literally, I was feeling this on a societal level as well when I went to China. And I got it tattooed on my body to have this actual painful, physical, permanent reminder, Peppy, that oxytocin is something that can control you, but doesn't have to. Melt, hope all is well, brother. Man, amazing how long you've been doing this. Way to share your energy. Young Tex, every day, Fred. Every day. We've made a deal with infinity. We talk about being infinite beings, then we have to be infinite beings, don't we? Thank you for joining us, Young Tex. Thank you for the energy and for the power you give. Mean toe cutter. What are you? Just imagining a character that runs up to people and just cuts their toes, but not even like a big cut, just like a small, like just so that it's a comfortable cut. Mean toe cutter. Thank you for the helpful friend. Gives me hope. I've been a single mom for almost 10 years too. Whew, Yapona. Do you want to be in a relationship again? Are you looking? Like that might be, one of the most personal questions I've asked, but I'm curious. I'm okay single. Stop licking, please. Thank you. I'm okay single. I like my own skin, but we were all created to love and be loved. It's in our DNA. We're doing it right now, Epona. And with what Toasty just said, like we have become societally ingrained in this physical affection type of mentality, but we can share love with one another. We can experience love in this moment without a stimulus, without that physical stimulus. We can experience that love, in this space amongst each other. And I think maybe that, if anything, is the shift in consciousness that's happening right now. She's an angel, and they work well together. It's nice to see. I'm happy. I'm so happy to hear that. So Noah says, Mel, I finally woke up early enough to catch you on stream. Thank you. Hope you are well, my friend. I hope you are well, Noah. Thank you for joining us, friend. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for waking up. Ponamon, whatever you are, there are so many people out there that can fit absolutely perfectly with you. You'll find not just someone, but that one person you'll vibe and enjoy all moments with. Thank you, Talia. Man, your love has been so true. I appreciate you. Like genuinely, it means the world. Freaking Kira Burb is here as well. Kira Burb and Jovan at the same time. Thank you for joining me, my beloved sisters. How are your How's your foot feeling? Your leg feeling, Kira Burb? I hope it's not painful anymore. Good old oxytocin. Good old oxytocin. A chemical representation for physical affection. Love you guys. Love you, Kira Burb. Bird, I hope your footsy's doing okay, healing quickly and enjoying some downtime. I hope so as well. Wishing you all heaps and heaps of that molecule. Thank you so much, Talia. Oxytocin is the chemical I can't identify when I feel it. Dopamine, serotonin, epinephrine, cortisol, easy ID. Oxytocin is so fleeting in my brain. Poof, it's gone. And not only poof, it's gone, but in the moment, it's almost like a delirium. At least for me, like I'm not there, kind of, or I am completely there, or nothing else is there. Just so yeah, I like that's my sensation. Toast. It's very centering. Makes you super present. Makes everything else disappear in that moment. That's my experience with oxytocin. But everything never disappears. It's separation. Okay. Poor Burp. Sending heals. Thank you so much, Toast. Thank you so much for sending love as well. Thanks, loves. It hurts a lot. I'm cranky and I didn't sleep much. Crap, I'm so negative. I'm sorry. Love, love, love. Much, 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 much. Kira Burb. I'll wash my hands, just because Toasty's in my brain now. I'm seeing 11s everywhere. Prompting me to wash my hands again. It's like, bro, you need to, before you light that joint, before you touch it again, you need to wash your hands. Fine, I'm washing my hands. I feel this. Yeah. Like, what did you feel about what I had to say about it? I don't know if I hit any notes. Like, it's the first time I actually thought about it in that way. I think it allows me to be present, or it allows me to make the rest of the world disappear in that moment. It has some feelings of comfort alongside with it, feelings of mush, I guess would be the way to say it. Face smushing. The urge to grab someone's face, smush it, kiss their smushed face. Yes. Oxytocin. You're allowed to feel in the negativity. Goodness, that sounds really awful. I mean, not being able to use your legs like you usually do. That's just not a vibe. Right, Kira Burp. I can understand completely why you would be a little bit, let's say, uncomfortable. Not negative, uncomfortable. And an uncomfortable being is, by definition, not going to be comfortable with whatever is happening. So you're okay, Kira Burp. I love you. You're doing okay. Don't worry too much. Don't apologize. Don't be sorry. Discomfort, there we go, is a feeling that's allowed to be felt before you eventually let it go. Get well soon. Burp. Perfectly put. share something with you, Toast. I feel a part of the reason I haven't been as sick throughout my life. Maybe I've been man down sick like a total of 7 times in my entire life. Like if someone wanted to kill me, they would be able to man down. Otherwise, I would be able to defend myself. It's a weird measure. I'm sorry, weird measure of capability, but like that man down. And I think it's partially because of what I've been exposing myself to in these type of environments, with especially with these things. These things I say, these little friends that we have, little friends, because they're yeah. See, I just get to see sometimes the stuff she gets up to. I can't even imagine the stuff I don't see. Maybe I shouldn't be imagining the stuff I don't see. Stop doing that. But you're silly. You're exaggerating, honestly, how you're feeling, and you're not hurting anyone. You're expressing. Why did I really exaggerate? Broken foot. You're exaggerating, Kira Burb. Stop exaggerating. Foot broken. Schmoot broke. You're expressing, honestly, how you're feeling, and you're not hurting anyone around you in doing so. Don't be sorry. We love you, and we're here for and with you in your healing. We're here with you, my friend. We look forward to seeing it come off. We look forward to hearing you, being able to walk on your own 2 feet again, getting better and better. Your kids taking care of you. Mm, do you count poetry as art? Of course, Jenny. All like everything is art. I think your life is the ultimate work of art. That's it's a little bit out there. I think of human beings as fractals, and every decision you make, everything you eat, every breath you take becomes a part of that ultimate fractal. And if you could, from a fifth dimensional perspective, see an entire life lived, visualized as a fractal, how you live your life will influence the beauty, the intricacies, the color, the flavor, the smell, the touch, the texture of that fractal, if you will, from this fifth dimensional perspective. So you are the work of art, Jenny. So the poetry that you write, absolutely, it's even more intentionally works of art. Please do share. I feel a rush when I hug people, but only when I can hug for a long time, at least 30 seconds. Is that oxytocin? Yes, very much oxytocin. It's a good feeling. It's awkward with family members, I feel. Like hugs with family members are very short-lived. Like it's like a okay, hug and then gone. Where in romantic settings there is more agency to not break that connection. I think maybe that's why we think that there has to be romantic relationships to be or to have that type of intimacy with one another. Very comforting, brothers and sisters. I loves you. We loves you so much, so much. Your immune system is probably pretty nailed down. Did you get sick in China? Immensely. Because, like, one of my man down sessions was in China when I initially got there. Like, this is extremely not cool, and I'm aware of this, but I still want to be completely transparent and honest with you about what it was called, or what I was told is this is name. So it's basically the seasonal flu of China, but because you live in a certain environment and you are a part of a certain seasonal flu system, you don't necessarily build up immunity to the other seasonal flus from other countries. So upon arriving in a new country and then contracting the seasonal flu that other people just get mild symptoms for, you get wrecked. And my colleagues said that I have AIDS, Chinese AIDS, and it's funny, but it's not funny. I know it's not funny. It was just a seasonal flu. but it was bad. It was not fun. Like I felt pretty ass, like that moment where you're like under your blankets. You drink. Oh goodness, they gave me this molasses tasting packages, if you will. I was like, I'm getting wrecked. I need something. I have a medicine, and they gave me these sachets, all in Chinese. Like I couldn't read a word. I tried to use my phone to translate it, and there was like something bark, something root, something flower, and then like molasses, actual molasses. And I'm like, okay. And I put it in my water, and it just tastes like I'm drinking molasses water. They like recommend you pour some hot water into it, stir it up, and then drink that hot water as fast as you can, and then get into bed and cover yourself with blankets. And I do that, and I'm just like dying, like that. And then your body is like screaming, like, let me out, let me the fuck out, let me out. Stop freaking holding me under this blankets. And you're like, no, this is for your own good. You need to get whatever is inside of you outside of you. Just like sweat it out, dude. Yeah, so I got sick. I definitely got sick, Toast. But then after I got that one seasonal flu, I was like set again for the rest of it. Lurp, 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 lurp to you. Thank you so much. How dare they? Oh, we were having such a peaceful moment, Peppy, right? And now this tractor noise. How dare they? I'm not that bothered. She is, though, yeah. You heard that little growl. I freaking love how you wrote this, and I appreciate it a lot. I always get caught up on what makes something art. Is it the intention to see beauty, to see creativity, to question the process and creation, the viewer slash creator? I feel anything that can be seen can be art. So from this perspective of us being works of art, we can be seen in that way. We can be seen as those works of art as well. And those who will be tuned into the frequency to see something as art as opposed to not art will be allowed to see your works of art as the art that it is. So even if your art might not be what you consider or what someone else considers art, it might be to someone else. And if they are in the frequency to experience it as such, they will be allowed to experience it as such. And that moment will be divinely theirs. It will be the experiencer, conscious awareness, the viewer, if you will, and creator witnessing something that wasn't witnessed before. And that's why I create, to, what's the saying, to give yourself even though you're not being received, because it's not about that. It's about the act of giving. If there is a willingness to tune into that frequency, there will be. But if there isn't, then you tuning in to that frequency yourself is what is of utmost importance. Is there and all of that above? Oh, shit. Gush Samish, thank you for joining us, Avant. It's been a while, friend. Sounds good, right? Your immune system is level 100 in SA, level 8 in China. That's why I asked. You knew, dude. Yeah, it very much was like that. I got wrecked, dude. I was like showing up, ripped South African immune system, and then I walked in, and I was like fighting against what example can I make? I was fighting against, a bunch of lava monsters here in South Africa. So I was like patching myself with this cool ice armor, rocking up. I have a big old ice sword, if you will, slaying these lava monsters. And then I show up in China, and then in this world, there's ice monsters, and they freeze you to death. She got beaten to the ground. Like literally had my poor little ice shields beaten off of me and my body frozen, and then I started rebuilding. Started giving my DNA, my T cells new instructions about what they're supposed to be doing. Built some sort of hybrid suit, temper regulation suit. Can either up regulate the temperature or down regulate the temperature, keeping me stable in the middle. Yes. Jovan, from the perceived art is determined by the viewer. Everything in the physical world is a creation. If you feel like it has beauty in it can be art to you. There we go. Same frequency, different words. I appreciate you so much for sharing that, Talia. I've never left the US. I know when I do, I'm gonna get so sick. Toast? No, absolutely not. You're gonna be so healthy if you leave. You might get the snuffles for a second or two, and then you're gonna eat an orange, and then that snuffles is gonna get beaten into the ground. Manifesting this, yes. Toasty won't get sick. Hey, it's Carmelia. Thank you for joining us, friend. How are you? How are the kids? How has things been? Has things changed? I did a thing. Tell us. I got my nose pierced yesterday. Okay. Has it helped? Do you feel better for it? Does it look good on you? Do you feel you look good in it? Do you have a bunch of piercings that only goes into that nose hole? How long does it take to heal? Do you want more? Those are the questions coming to my mind. Do share. Yeah, right, Toasty. Your immune system is still strong, but that is useless for protection. If there is one big bad boy you can't fight or move, all of those millions of bad boys your system can fight are there. So what happens is this little organism, this virus, gets into your body and then finds cells and then starts using those cells to manufacture more of itself. And usually your body has these things called T cells that are your immunity cells that remember that certain things are no bueno, bad for you. And then they kill them, or they basically instruct things to kill them before they can really become a problem. So if you come into a new country, your T cells do not recognize these viruses because it hasn't had exposure to them. It hasn't had the time and the opportunity to build proper defenses and proper recognition systems to defend yourself against them. So you get wrecked. You just get kind of wrecked. Scar, how was your day? Thank you for asking. Yes, Leah, I like that. Hey, everybody. Hey, Mononoke. Thank you for joining us, my friends. Thank you for the love, Sensei. I'm looking forward to our meeting a little bit later, Brother Bear. The oxytocin kicked in from you cool kids. Cheers for you, but from time. So much love to you. Thank you, Kira Burr, for feeling into this with us. Look who just rolled out of bed. So deep, amazing, life-changing. Oh, wow, 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 wow. Thank you, friend. I'm happy that you're feeling into this with me. Toasty, still in bed actually. How are you feeling today? Same as every other day. Thank you. Thank you, Sensei. We're like, we love you. We love you, Sensei. And it's like, yeah. Oi, stream is laggy this morning. Oh, it's been that way this whole time. And your friends still have been here. I'm like astounded. I'm behind on stream, but hearing about Cartha's difficulty in finding a job, that there's in New York, they're literally closing businesses, and all the closed sign it reads, closed due to lack of help / staff on their phone number. I think it's possible. Either I think it's definitely possible to find work. I just want Cartha to find work that he's worthy of and that's going to serve his soul. He wants to make music. It's insane. Maybe tune in on the YouTube. That's the way. If you want a stable connection, the YouTube's gonna be the way, friends. I am so sorry. There's nothing I can do to make the Reddit a little bit better. I've asked, I've begged, but at the moment, we're doing what we can with what we have, where we are. We don't have to move that much. Back to bed. I love you, Mel, Joe Bourbon Toasty. Get some rest. Thank you, Kira Burr, for sharing this space with us. I hope you received all of the healing vibes we're trying to send you. When it rains, it pours. Thank you for the starstruck. And thank you for your presence here with us today. How are you doing, my friend? Crap, missed you here. Love you, sis. Text you when I wake up. Are you telling me what to do? Sensei, how about you smile, huh? How about that, dude? How about you have a nice day, Sensei? How about how about you eat a delicious meal, huh? How about you stay hydrated? How about you have a shower at some point? All of the things that Sensei absolutely always does. Now I'm like, do these things. Suddenly Sensei's entire life falls apart, just like total ruin. Starts growing dreadlocks, you know, tells us that showering is propaganda for the soap industry. Sensei, we love you, brother bear. We just love you, man. Sleep tight, no Sensei, I'm ordering you. There we go. It was my first piercing besides my earlobes. I think it looks heckin' great on me, but I'm counting the keys, the days before I can change it to a ring instead of a stud. Okay, like a round thing. It'll be 3 months to fully heal. Okay. So your first piercing since normal ear piercings. My uncle, my young uncle, my dad's half brother that his mom had with his stepdad that married my grandma when my dad was 13. I guess that was the most contrived way to explain that. But my dad was 17 when this uncle of mine was like a 3-year-old boy running around with a hammer trying to hit people. And, like at one point I was like driving in the car with him and I can't remember where we went. We went to some sort of kiosk. And as I was getting out of the car, he like stuck his tongue out at me. He did something like that. And I saw like something shiny come out of his mouth and then go back into his mouth. And I'm like, the fuck? The fuck's that? So, and then, he's like, oh, I have a tongue ring. And I'm like, what? And he's like, yes. And he sticks his tongue out and he hooks the little steel thing of his teeth. And I see the little rod, little bit in his tongue. And my poor child brain, it seized. I was like, what the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why would you shoot a spike through the middle of your tongue? And he was like, because it's cool or something like that. I don't know, but that was so surreal. Piercings have been so surreal ever since. I don't think I'll ever get a piercing after that traumatic event as a child. That is quite some time. Heal well and necessary. Thank you to Leah. It kind of itches. It will. Don't scratch it. I'm smiling not because you told me to fuck. It's like, I'm gonna smile, but not because you told me that. I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. Enjoy that smile. Thank you for smiling. Yes, out of the nose. No, you don't know how to not smile. Oh man, you mentioned dreadlocks, and I remember the crazy story from college. Someone reminded me at some point. If someone wanted to hear, I'm so down, Heather. I'm so down. Maybe tomorrow or today if you want to, my friend. Like, it's completely up to you. The fact that you don't want to tell it. Maybe if you want to tell it tomorrow. I love story times. Yeah, curious about your dad's perspective on your own. Man, this is the nitty gritty. But I'll tell you because I feel it's such basic information that is not necessarily that controversial. But this uncle has always been in our family's light the black sheep. He was the first one of our family members who had tattoos. And tattoos in South Africa, especially during those times, were very frowned upon. So he was one of the first family members who had tattoos. And, me seeing these tattoos as a kid was also frowned upon because he was now encouraging me to get tattoos by having tattoos himself and then allowing me to see these tattoos. And that was the perception I got of him from my parents. The way that I was seeing it, like my mom being like, ugh, daai tattoo, like Swifties. Like he had a skateboard brand logo, it's like a little oval, and I think it has like a line or something through it, or something like that, tattooed on the side of his shoulder here. And arguably, it wasn't a good tattoo. And my mom was really not happy about it. And she was very vocal about that. My dad was kind of like, it's his body, his life type of vibes. And would say things like, if I ever get a tattoo, he would cut it out of my body with his Leatherman, is what he would say. Like, he has this belt accessory. There's like a pair of pliers and a bunch of knives and a screwdriver, a pair of scissors, and a Leatherman. You probably know what a Leatherman is. It's a great tool. And he would say like he will cut my tattoo out of my body with his Leatherman. And I'm like, oh my goodness. As a 9-year-old, I believed him. I was like, yep, you would probably do that. 100%. And then my uncle, had the tattoo covered up with like a tribal tattoo that went over a larger part of his shoulder. And then my mom was like, oh, hy het die klein kakkie in 'n groter kak verander. He turned this small little shit into a big pile of it, basically. And it was very, I wouldn't say traumatizing, just jarring to see people talking about someone else, so viscerally, with such animosity, for something like a tattoo. And I feel that was the biggest thing, that was a turn off for tattoos in my life at first. And I was also convinced that I would never get one. And then as I got older, this uncle also kind of stabilized a little bit. I definitely don't take him as a role model at all, to be completely honest. And my dad also has a few problems with the way he's choosing to live his life. They got really involved when this uncle got divorced. Like, they literally went to their house for like 5 days and spent time at their home trying to coach them through this to save their marriage. Like, it's weird. It's so weird. I'm kind of flabbergasted by it. Yeah, families are kind of odd. Oh. And now I'm one of those weird uncles. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go through the whole same trip. Hello, Heather. Love story time. My tongue piercing was probably the worst one, only because of the healing process. I wear them very subtly, but I have 13 piercings. So fun. I am blown away. All of your piercings still have their like holes, only because of the healing process. I wear them very subtly, but I have 13 piercings. I'm guessing a lot of them are like on your ears, right? That's what I'm assuming. Maybe you have like some here, you have one on your tongue, maybe you have one on your nose. I think most of them should be on your ear. At least that's the way. Oh goodness! Suddenly something pulled. That's the way my brain makes sense of it. I feel a rush. Good day to you, Candace. Thank you for joining us, my friend. It's so nice to have you here. How are you? How are the girls doing? How's Teddy? And look who it is. It's Muffin Shark. Hi to you, friend. How are you doing? How's life been treating you? I have 8. You know what? I was like, if you're gonna tell me how many piercings you have, you also tell me where they are. And then I was like, that might be information that people wouldn't want to share. And I was like, rather not. I think my uncle or dad are DB Cooper. How do I move on without asking prying questions? Oh man, I don't know who DB Cooper is, friend. I had a little piece of string that came from a scarf that was tied around this, and I just noticed that it's no longer on it. And I was jokingly saying that I have it with me because I don't know where it came off from. Like, I still have the scarf, and I inspect it, and there's no place where it could have torn off. I don't see any damage to the scarf, if you will. So I've been carrying it with me as a trip. Just this piece of infinity that fell out of this larger infinity. And now that infinity is within the larger infinity, and I don't know where it is. Now I'm tripping out about that at all. Oops, 10. But I don't wear them anymore. Are the holes still there? Heather, do you not wear them anymore because you don't want to? Because you don't find yourself in environments where you would normally? I'm curious. You must ask questions. I don't know who DB Cooper is, unfortunately, Heather. Septum, brother. Whoa. I think I missed Toast's comment. What the hell? I think I missed both of them. I think I missed a few of them. Maybe I missed... What the hell? My tongue piercing. Damn, 13. Nice. Yeah. I have a 12 gauge, 12 gram in my septum and 100 and O's in my earlobes. I do not know what that means. Love decorating themselves. We do. You know, that's why I'm dressed like a festival character. I'm also the weird hippie uncle. Welcome to the club. I'm okay with it, Toast. I'm so down for it, actually. Oops, 10. Thank you for the silver, Tom. It's nice to have you here, Brother Bear. Thank you for joining us. Even for a moment. I'm about to tune out, actually. It would fit you. 7 in the ears, 2 in the nose, and more. I wear them all. Okay, Jovan. Piercings. It's interesting how we moved from movement to piercings. Moving something through skin so it stays. And the fact that our bodies can be somewhat okay with it. You know, it can heal. It can accept something. You know, like Toast has rings. Our bodies are amazing. You know, you can quite literally move skin. Like you stretch your skin out, moving that skin away so that you can wear an accessory. And our bodies are like, okay, you know, as long as you're gentle, as long as you take your time, I can move you through anything. You can make it. Our family surname is often mistaken for Cooper, and the timeliness of when it happened matches their bonding camp vacation when they were younger. DB Cooper held a plane hostage long time ago and parachuted from the plane. He and the money was never found. He stole money from the people on the plane? Did he like hold them hostage and like have them empty their wallets? Yo, that's absurd. I'm curious. Definitely ask some questions, my friend. I mean, it's done. You might as well ask the questions. Find some things out. Oh! Oh! Movement. Woo! My body has not been allowed to move properly. Ooh, man, it feels good. Feels so good. What the fuck? It's cool piercing, huh? You can just flip it up in the more professional environment, and then upside down bot is like, yes. That's pretty sick. Yeah, how long did you stretch them, Toast? I don't know either. Whoa, neat bot, right? I'm also like kind of impressed by it. That flip, you know, I think the word flip is what instigated it. When I trigger weird bots, lol, this one. Thank you, friends, for sharing this space, this moment with me. I appreciate you. I have a meeting at 9, So I'm gonna charge this phone a little bit, and then we're going to have a little bit of a thank you dance. How about that? Oh, etc. But fine. Lamal. That was the twist unexpected. 3 years. 3 years that you've been stretching it. That is, it's kind of trippy, you know, spending 3 years for arguably a little bit of movement, and yet a lot of movement. What on the holy heck was that? Thank you for your time, Melton Chat. Stay handsome. If you say so, friend. Thank you for blessing me. Yes, please, body. Try and stay beautiful as long as you can. All of you friends, thank you for being such beautiful individuals. I love you and I appreciate you, and I cannot thank you enough for being who you are. I love you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Whoa. Tom says DB Cooper got 200K from an airline. People go and took off again and jumped. Okay, thank you for letting me know, Thomas, just before I tuned out. Bye. Love you, nerds. Peace, friends. Love all of you. See you again tomorrow. Goodbye, my friends. So much love to you.